Well, tell us about the Eagles. Let's go with their offense first.
Well, offensively, their quarterback's a 3-year starter. He's a very good player. He's got lots of experience. You know, they made it's a big run for them in the second round last year. You know, they got beat by Henderson. Mm-hmm. They were way up at halftime. I know it was like 28-6, and right before half, Henderson scored to make it 28-14 or 13, whatever it was, and then they came out and Henderson I know that Lindell turned the ball over 5 times, and that's what ended up getting them. And because they could have easily won that game. So they were real, they could have easily won our game, obviously. And so they got a lot of seniors back. I think they got 27 seniors, and most of them are starters, or most of their starters are seniors. So they're very seasoned. They're very experienced. They're a very good football team. Their offensive line is going to be the biggest we play all year. They average about 300 pounds all the way across. And their quarterback, like I said, is a very good player. They got a good running back, number 22. They got a couple, good receivers. So offensively, defensively for us, we got our hands. We really got to play well. We got to play assignment football. They do a lot of zone read by the quarterback. They'll do a lot of different schemes. So we've got to play very good bulldog defense and very solid. Very disciplined. Know your keys. Know who you got on the option and know who you got on the zone read and run to them and tackle well.
They still go with no huddle?
They do a lot. They do a lot of no huddle, and what they'll do is the no huddle will give us will be very makes people be very simple defensively. Just because you can't get everything in because they'll snap it real quick if you're looking at your coach. So at the defensive coaches, so our defensive plan is not the most sophisticated plan that we'll ever have, but what their offense does is that they'll make you play a long time. They'll make you play a lot of snaps, but they'll also make you play fundamental football and put you one-on-one in space. And so we're going to have to tackle one-on-one, whether it's a quarterback. The quarterback's a good runner, and they run him a bunch. And so we're going to have to, when he pulls it, we might only have one guy assigned to the quarterback and everybody else running to the tailback, so he's going to have to make the play. And sometimes if we're in zero coverage, we might have or screw the safeties down, then we might have 2 men on him. But there's going to be times that we got one guy assigned to him, so he's going to have to make the tackle. Very challenging.
Now, do they go partially with the no-huddle, Scott, for a reason of the defense not being able to make substitutions?
Well, maybe part of that, but they'll do the no-huddle and look. They'll do bark out a count and then look over to their coach and get the play. What we call Florida. We only do it, probably 10% of the game, and they do it probably 90% of the game. And their coaches will see what we're in and then they'll try to call the best play from what we're in. And, then we will try to, when they call the play, jump out and do other things. But for the base part, or for the most part, we're going to be in base and play football and see what we can do.
All right, how about their defense?
Defensively, they're very aggressive. They blitz. They play man-to-man. So they're going to really challenge the receiver's manhood and get up in what we call their grill, get up in their face and try to bump. I expect them to double Pope some. But, other players, if they double them, are going to have to make some plays. But the good thing about if they're in man coverage and you do pop that running back, he's got a chance to go a long ways with it, to go score with it. Just like last year, Hunter broke a couple and there was no safeties there for him because they were in zero coverage and the safeties were covering people down. So there is chance for big plays. The negative part of it, you have about 9 in the box sometime, and so we've got to be hard-headed some and go ahead and run it in there for 4 or 5 yards and make those safeties make plays instead of just throwing it one-on-one all the time. And if we're not connecting and don't have a very good percentage on those deep balls, then we got to do something else. We've got to be patient.
Now, obviously very hot last Friday night, extremely hot. and we didn't see much of Justin Williams. Going to see any more of him this week? You mentioned 9 in the box. He'd be the type runner I would think that could get those tougher yards.
Well, maybe. Maybe. He's so important on defense to us, and it's tough to run the ball a bunch and be a will linebacker. But he's probably get a few more carries. But who knows? DK Callaway can get in there and give us a lot. And he's strong too. So they're both a little bit different runners than Pipkin. They're a little bit bigger and stronger, but Tevin he'll run it in there now. He's a tough little back. So we'll just see. We just we don't go into the game where you're going to get this many carries. You're going to get this. We'll go with the hot hand.
Is your brother still the superintendent? And if so, have you been hearing any smack talking?
Well, he is still the superintendent, and last year when we were going into our 30, he wanted us to win the first one against Jacksonville to make it 30 because he assured me they were going to stop our streak at 30, and we got it to 31 on them. But that was he was talking a lot of trash last year, and of course I've been able to talk it for a whole year and I've kind of stopped this week, because it's game week, and he hadn't talked any this week. He just, y'all gonna beat us, and I said, well, how do you say that now? And we got all these young kids playing, and y'all got all seniors, and he said, I don't know. He just said, you're the luckiest sucker I've ever met. So, and I said, well, I'd rather be lucky than good, but so I guess I'm lucky against you all the time in golf too, because I wear him out in golf. So.
Now, because of that matchup, with your brother involved, you gonna have more family members there?
We'll have all the family members there. My brother and his family, and of course my parents will all be there. And it is a big game for me because of that. I don't want to get beat by my brother now. Nobody wants to get beat by their brother, even though he's just a soup. He's not coaching. He thinks he's probably the head coach over there. But it does make it a little important. I'm telling you, it hurt him last year when he saw that post fire down there to Cortland Ware Morgan when he fired it down there. And, he came down there and he was devastated. And we all took pictures with the family, and he had to put the old fake smile on. And that's what I don't want to have to do that after a game, is put a fake smile on just because my family's there. So this is an important game. It's not a life or death game like a district and, playoff game, but it is very important.
Well, again, one of the games of the year last year against this bunch, from what you've seen in practice this week, how do you think we're going to play? Going to play well?
Well, to be honest, last week we had two of the worst practices you've ever seen. And,
is that right?
And we did. Last Wednesday and Thursday, it just wasn't very good. And we come out and played well. Yesterday's practice, or Wednesday's practice wasn't very good, but other than that, it had been very good. Tuesday's was as sharp as any team I've ever been around, for its sharpness. Everybody lining up right, throwing the ball around, defense getting their calls in, and it was just complete opposite Wednesday. And so we're kind of on a roller coaster on practice right now, and last year's team kind of the same way early, and then it caught up with us. And so we're preaching right now that we've got to practice great to be great, and we hadn't practiced great, but we're getting better. We know we're getting better, and that's all about being young and inexperienced. Also, you got to learn how to practice and know how to practice and have quality practices to play the level that we want to play, the championship level that we want to play, and hopefully we'll start practicing better. But I did tell them after I had a few words after Wednesday, and I said, now if we'll play like we did last Friday, we might not be so mad about a bad Wednesday practice, but because we did play well every phase of the game. Special teams played great. Coach Preston had them going, and of course the defense, Coach Morgan, Coach Preston, boy, they played good. We had them all running, offensive line. And Coach Smith did a great job calling plays. It was fun. It was fun to watch, and hopefully we can do that again tonight.
All right. Bulldogs and the Eagles tonight from Lindale should be one of the great games of the year. Hope you'll be there to watch it in person. If not, we'll have it live for you right here on KGAS. And we'll be on there about 7 o'clock as we take a look at the starting lineups. For Coach Surratt, I'm Larry Allen, wishing you a great weekend.